What's good? What's good? What's good? How we feeling? We gonna jump straight into this. Today is what? January 12th. All right. We got our daily devotional, Jesus Calling. You don't have to necessarily believe in Jesus. You don't have to be a Christian. All you have to do is listen to the words and take them in. And I promise you, it'll give you something that I believe will be vital to your growth and success as a human. Let me prepare you for the day that stretches out before you. I know exactly what this day will contain, whereas you have only vague ideas about it. You would like to see a map showing all the twists and turns of your journey. You'd feel more prepared if you could somehow visualize what is on the road ahead. However, there is a better way to be prepared for whatever you will encounter today. Spend quality time with me. I will not show you what is on the road ahead, but I will thoroughly equip you for the journey. My living presence is your companion each step of the way. Stay in continual communication with me, whispering my name whenever you need to redirect your thoughts. Thus, you can walk through this day with your focus on me. My abiding presence is the best roadmap available. So let me prepare you for the day that stretches out before you. So, what do we want to say about this one? You'd feel more prepared if you could somehow visualize what is on the road next. That's the truth. We all always wish we knew what was coming next, where we were going, where we needed to go. What do we have to do after we do that? And it's like, bruh, start with the first step, right? And I feel like if we took our attention outside of what we don't know and outside of the future, it'd be so much easier to remain at peace and to remain in a joyful mood because you're not going to be stressing yourself out about the unknowns more so as you are going to be paying attention to what's around you and your surroundings, right? And so it says there's a better way to be prepared for whatever you will encounter today. Spend quality time with me because in the beginning was the word and the word was with God. So Christ already knows. He already knows the outcome. He knows your desired outcome, and he knows what the best outcome is according to him. So if you just spend time with him, all desires and all outcomes will work out to your benefit, even if it's not what you were looking for or asking for. But he already knows. So instead of trying to walk the path blind or trying to run ahead of him and figure it out, it'd be best to just slow down and let him go before you. Therefore, you'll have community and someone to talk to along the way, as well as a companion. You feel me? And you don't have to stress yourself so much about it. Follow the leader. It makes things easier if you put Christ before you, if you put Jesus before you, if you put God before you, if you put them before your own direction, your own wants, your own will. It simplifies the rest of your life because you're following the path as opposed to trying to trudge ahead forward and create the path. And so I will thoroughly equip you for the journey. Part of being equipped for the journey is being at peace, being at ease, and knowing you're going to get to the destination. So you don't have to do as much straining. You don't have to do as much stressing. You don't have to do as much fighting to have your way because the destination is going to be where he determines is best for you. And if you place your trust in him and follow his guidance and leadership, you're mitigating yourself of so much anxiety, so much stress, so much striving because he already knows. He already has a plan. He already has a vision. You can't see, so you stress out. You flip out, you trip out, and you start trying to figure out the future, but you can't see into the future. So you do yourself a good service by just sitting back and abiding in his presence and reminding yourself that he's sovereign and reminding yourself that he got it. Stay in continual communication with me, whispering my name whenever you need to redirect your thoughts. And that's strong right there, too, because so often we'll be able to bring ourselves to a point of peace or being able to feel okay with certain situations. And then as time gradually passes, whether it's an hour, whether it's 2 days, whether it's a week, we forget that we were able to find peace in the waiting or in the not knowing, and we start to stress out and get anxious again because we still don't have the answer. And so anytime that happens, it's best to just remind yourself God is king. Jesus is king. The Lord is sovereign. Nothing that I can do can change the situation. I cannot change the world myself. I cannot enact all of the changes that I wish to see. Therefore, I'm going to trust that the circumstances is in God's hands. And then we just give reverence to him. That's at the end of the day, really, that's all God wants is for us to stay in conversation and communion with him. You feel me? To acknowledge him and the fact that he is able to determine all our paths and to fix any problems we have. My abiding presence is the best roadmap available because if you have the presence of the Most High with you, you're automatically going to have some joy. You're automatically going to be at peace. You're automatically going to be able to be at ease. You're automatically going to be able to let go because you reverence the idea that there's someone greater than you who has your best interest at heart. It's like realizing as a kid that your favorite parent or your favorite aunt or your favorite grandparent planned the day and is the one picking you up and driving you to the destination. So it's like, man, today really sucked. Well, at least my grandma's coming to get me. And I know she's going to have something good for me to eat. She'll probably take me to my favorite store. It's the same thing with God. It's like, man, today really sucked. But I know that God has a greater plan planned out for me. He gonna pick me up. He gonna put me in the position that he want me to be in. It's no different. It's just we get so caught up in our adult lives and our adult wants and our adult desires and needs that we forget that God got it. That God been planned it out, and we stop giving reverence to Him. We become adults. We become autonomous, and start doing things by our own strength, by our own fruition, by our own striving, and then we get caught up and the fact that we can't plan everything, we can't control everything. And then we freak out more once we realize we can't control everything, when we stop and realize we never were controlling most of it to begin with. This is the reason we have so many stressed out adults because we grow up, we get the ability to plan and to execute, and then we stress out when we lose sight on what's next or how to. But if you stop and remember, the first 18, 20 years of your life, you had no clue. The happiest times of your life were when you had no clue. When you were 5, 6, 7, 8, and you didn't have to worry about what you were eating. You just knew you were going to eat. You didn't have to worry about who was getting you from school because someone had to pick you up. You didn't worry about what clothes you were going to wear because someone else picked them out. That's when we were the happiest as children without responsibilities. And then we get older and we forget the fact that we are still children of who? The Most High God. And He cares about us more than our own parents do, our biological birth parents. You feel me? And He has way more control, way more authority, way more power than our earthly parents do. So, if we just get beside ourselves and remember his autonomy and his goodness and his graciousness and his glory, it'd be so much easier to remain at peace, to remain in a good mindset, a good headspace, right? And so that's all it really is. It's just come back to it. Come back to it. Continually come back to it. It's no different than meditating. It's like once you start meditating and you get into it, and then all of a sudden your foot itches and your back is kind of hurting and you're hungry. You wish you had some water. It's not the point. Let me get back to the meditation and just realize the fact that my body is alive. And each one of these synapses and these urges is a blessing that I'm even able to register and feel them. And I control them all. You feel me? God controls it all. Remind ourselves that He controls it all. He's autonomous. He doesn't need us. Now, we act like we're autonomous, but so many other things in the world have to be going right that we don't control. I do not control how quickly the synapses in my brain fire. I don't even know what they're doing in order to do that. So all I can do is give reverence and thanks to the fact that God made it possible. And He has to have a bigger plan and understanding than me because I don't even know how my arms work. I don't understand how I think lift up and my hand is up. And the same amount of time it takes me to say hand up, my brain is already processing it and doing it. My hand is going up quicker than I can even process it. You feel me? And so it's like for me to take any type of responsibility for a majority of things, I can't. I didn't make my kneecaps. You feel me? And without them, I wouldn't be able to stand up and walk. So all I can do is give thanks, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that as we get older and older, we stop remembering how much we actually don't control. And that some of the happiest moments and times in our lives are when we weren't controlling the outcomes of the situations. And we get older and we get the ability to plan and to delegate. And that brings us more anxiety, more stress, more wants, more desires to try and control. So the more you can relinquish control, the more at peace you can be, the happier you can be. The less you have to be the one in charge handling everything, the more space you give yourself to just enjoy the moment, to just enjoy life. Think about a baby. How often do you see babies smiling? Babies wake up as long as they're fed and changed and burped. Babies like unless I don't look for me personally, most of the babies I've ever been around my whole life, 70% of the time they was goo goo guy and hee hee ha ha keying and shit. You don't see babies pissed off all the time. Only time you see babies pissed off is if they live in an environment with adults who are always pissed off, right? And I say this to say, if the natural state of a baby is joyful, happiness, bliss, cheer, why isn't it the same for an adult? Because we get older and we start trying to control outcomes in situations and get things to go the way that we want them. And then that desire, that want for control gives us stress and anxiety because what if it doesn't go the way I'm planning or I'm picturing or that I want, which also makes us angry, upset, and sad because we don't get what we want. Now, if the desires of your heart are directly linked to the desires of the kingdom, you'll be happier way more of the time because you're not blindly looking after your own interests. And I think that's the biggest thing right there. The more we can stop blindly looking after our own interests, the happier we'll be. Fight me if you don't fight me if you disagree. But all right, I'm off this. Hope y'all got a good one. I hope this was edifying for y'all. It's your boy Diesel. If you want to get more daily devotionals, more mindset reshaping, and get more into the word, go ahead, follow, like, share, subscribe. I'm here at least 3 days a week. I'm about to try to be here every day this year. 65, but we already about